to show you how to make a proper overhead sump, because there's a couple videos online that I saw and I find everyone does it in such a shitty way. So I want to show you a better way to do it, if not the best way to do it, at least the best way on a budget. What you're going to need, first of all, one of these flower pot things. Get one as long as you can. I have a 4-foot tank. This is 3 feet long. If I could have, I would have gotten a 4-foot long one. Don't make it longer than your tank, it's going to look weird. Aside from that, you're going to need some media, lava rocks. This is the cheapest. You're then also going to need some glue. I'm using E6000. I bought a Canadian Tire, but any glue should work as long as it adheres to plastic. I'm also using some sheets of corrugated plastic, zip ties, egg crate, a drill with a drill bit for your bulkhead, the bulkheads, you need the bulkheads, any sort of return pump. You want something that at least does a 6-time turnover of your aquarium. So if you have a 100-gallon aquarium, you want a 600-gallon return pump minimum. Some various fittings. So let me show you the basic idea of how this is going to work. And you're going to need 3 bulkheads. So one bulkhead is going to be for your intake, and then you're going to have 2 bulkheads for your output. Break up the space for your mechanical and then your biological. I want a large mechanical filtration because I know there's going to be a lot of crap in the water. But if you're keeping smaller fish, you might want to put more space for your biological. You might not want as much for your mechanical. So I'm doing about 30-60, so 30% mechanical, 60% biological. So this first piece is going to handle my mechanical filtration, and then this secondary area is going to handle my biological. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to split that up, but you just want to know how much you want from the get-go. So I'm going like that. Then take your plastic spacers, cut them up to fit properly, and you place one to separate your mechanical from your biological, and you place another spacer, and you need to make sure that this first spacer is just over the lighting diffuser, not under it, not on the side, just over it, short piece, and not higher than the top of the sump, because or else in case water overflows, it clogs for X or Y, whatever reason, you want it to pass over and not make a mess. Second piece of plastic, you put that in right after your mechanical filtration, and I like to leave a little spot. I like to leave a little spot open over here to have my output free, so I know it's not going to clog, just for safety reasons. The way the water passes through is it's going to go from the input, so from the pump, pumps the water into here, underneath the egg crate, through your biological. So you could also, the way I'm putting it like this, you could put biological underneath, so like a layer underneath and a layer on top. The way most people do it, it kind of like, it's like a stream system almost, and they don't make any baffles, but you need the baffles to make sure that the water is circulating through your mechanical filtration, your biological filtration, or else it's just skimming over it, and it's not properly doing its job, and it's not circulating through it the way you want. So you're not maximizing your surface area like you possibly could be. You need to be efficient as well. I'm also gonna put some extra lighting diffuser in here just to support it. So it's just so that the weight of the lava rocks doesn't crush it and break it. Take it from there. But before we do all that, we're gonna have to drill the holes for our bulkheads. So these are reverse thread bulkheads. I don't know why. Usually you tighten this way, but it's loosening, and to tighten, you tighten opposite way. I don't know why. If you know why, put it in the comments. So when you put in a bulkhead, you go gasket side towards the inside. So like where the water's being held, gasket always there. It's easier to stop water from going through than trying to hold it from coming out. That's the logic that I use. Have all the bulkheads on. Intake, the 2 outputs just to be safe in case one gets clogged. You don't want it overflowing. This is what I'm using, a 90 degree for the for the intake side. For the output side, I'm using 2 T's. Don't forget to put your Teflon. In honor of the Teflon Dawn. Slap some Teflon on here. I'm using a T because you don't want it to have air bubbles trapped in from the output. You want it to be as unrestricted as possible. You know, like when you have a drain and you pull out the drain and it makes that glow glow, that weird sound? Well, that's just like an air bubble getting trapped, and this prevents that from happening, so you have unrestricted flow. It's just another safety precaution. Right now, I'm just making supports so the lighting diffuser doesn't break under the pressure of the lava rocks. They're pretty heavy. So once you set up your ground floor level, it's time to glue in the baffles. First baffle, you want to put it between the two so that you can still pull this out and have access to put media at the bottom there. The second baffle, put it in right after your media basket. So this is what it's going to look like. You're going to run a nice thick bead of glue on the baffles and let it cure overnight, and tomorrow morning set up the plumbing in place over the aquarium. Alright, so they're completely dried now, which is great. Look at how strong this is. It's dried really well. Look at how it keeps the water in. It's almost like a silicone seal that it makes over here. But anyway, works really well. I would definitely suggest you use this glue. Now I'm going to put all the media in place. This is the intake side. This is going to be my mechanical filtration side. Like that. And I put a T so I disperse the water that comes out so that it goes evenly. Sponge right there. And I'm also going to put filter floss over it. So filter floss just like that. And over here on the bottom side, because my lighting diffuser is going to go over it. On the bottom side, I'll put the smallest pieces of media that I have, the smallest pieces of lava rock. They always come in different sizes. So that's full of lava rocks there at the bottom. And I'm going to add some to this layer as well on the top. Now that all my media is in place, all that's left to do is to hook up the water, hook up the pump intake side, and hook up the hoses on the output just to make sure that they're going where they want to go. You're gonna have an extra cubby over here for anything you want. You can put a temperature sensor, you can put whatever you want. I'm just putting in a couple of sponges because I have them lying around, and that's pretty much everything there is. So let's go set it up. Bring out a couple of really pretty zingus and this very special Boltzmann. That's why I have this one set up, but I don't know what I was thinking. Running it on an Aqua Clear 70 hang on the back, this thing is like just so not adequate. It holds like 2 bags of media and absolutely sucks. It's not even funny. So I'm taking all this out and I'm gonna put the overhead sump because this is just not cutting it at all. So what I'm gonna place this on is this piece of plywood right here. That's what my filter is gonna sit on. I made it out of three-quarter plywood. If it's only a single floor, you should have no issues. If it's multiple floors, like let's say if I decide I want to do more floors than this, that's why I left a little space on this side for the plywood so that I could suspend it with a piece of 2x4 onto the stand and it's not actually way down on the glass. Just for this one level overhead sump, this should be fine to be on the glass, shouldn't be an issue at all. All I have to do is connect this pump to my intake, and I'm just using braided flexible hoses for that. So I hooked up the intake pump. It was a bit of a negotiation, but it got done. Now I have a piece of 1/2-inch PVC right here that I'm going to set up on these T's because I just don't want it to make noise. It's really annoying when you hear the trickling of water. I'm going to cut these in half. I'm using, you guys might have seen me use it through the video, but these pliers here are so like satisfying. Let me show you how well these replace that PVC, it goes to it like butter. Right? Really useful. Alright, well, I think we're ready to plug it in. Alright, maiden voyage, always a little nerve-wracking. Let's plug in the pump. A little concerned. I think this pump is too strong. So we're gonna have to pull down the pump now. Oh, what a situation. So yeah, change of plans. I had to run to the store, get a valve, because this wasn't happening. Let's give this another try now. Plug it back in. So I was a little worried, but the ball valve fixed it up, so think about incorporating that if you think it's important enough. My pump was a little bit too strong. I think it's rated at 1,000 gallons per hour. Maybe get something a little bit smaller, or use a smaller hose. 3/4 was too big, so think about going with 1/2. I'm pretty satisfied with the way it came out. It's just as good as any FX5, FX6, and it's pretty quiet. So if this video helped you out, do me a favor and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. If by the time you see this video I'm at 1,000 subscribers, then don't even bother subscribing. I'm not that greedy.